What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Bridges, and we're going back to Fakkeltog, 1980. And this tune is Melancholic Chevaliers, which is a very intriguing phrase. Ultimately, I believe the latter term, the noun, isn't it related to like knights or some form of like military order, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but either way, melancholic, morose, full of ennui, anxiety. I do wonder, how the two will come together. I imagine, on some level we're dealing with analogy or, sort of poetic renderings of phrases that otherwise would have more historical meanings. Either way, I'll see what I can catch on a first listen. This is Bridges. The track is Melancholic Chevaliers, and the track is from their 1980 album Fakkeltog.
Melancholic Chevaliers. There was a different fare, the Melancholic Chevaliers. Been writing for so long, our nights are strong. You got to choose whether you want us running loose in your world.
Definitely major Doors vibes
In
again.
your streets,
Even in the vocals.
in your life, and in your radio, and in the telephone. You got to choose if you want us
Together very well.
I love this falling creature as I fear today. Only he can take me fast enough, further and away. There was a different fare, the Melancholic Chevaliers.
Like literally, it's a cartoon exit, and I need to exit like stage left, like Snagglepuss. I know some people were saying they're not really familiar with Roxy music beyond maybe one or two songs, or maybe not at all. It's that level of crazy. It's that level of like we're doing our own thing, and to hell with pop conventions or even art rock and whatever. We're just doing like us rock. We're doing whatever the heck comes to our musical fancy. So again, it's another one with some heavy Doors vibes, but there's more than that there. Like it's zanier, it's more crazy clever than I ever would have expected going into this. Thinking that again, the references in the Aha movie to the very young days of Mags and Paul is like, Hendrix and like, what was that guy's name? He was like a British artist, I want to say, but it was like this real classic rock. And in the movie, I was like, oh, I never heard of this guy, but this song's crazy. And they were saying when they heard that, they were like, oh my God, we're not even on like a level close to what we thought, people are capable of. And I feel like, by the time they're recording this, it's like they're definitely trying to explore in a way that I think is reflective of artists where I've just said, holy smokes, like I don't even, how do you even like approach this? It's so different from everything else. So that's the kind of feeling I get when I listen to their music. A couple songs in particular. This one, as I said, I think there was a zany like comedy element to it, certainly by the end, but even some of the other tempo changes. Now that sort of, not middle section, I think it was like second half, but when the sort of plodding, kind of weird, melancholic atmosphere and all the different sonic elements came together and it clicked into double time speed, that section was really fantastic. And I felt like that was like a more normal part of the track that like you could put on an album where it's like, oh, okay, yeah, it's kind of that, blues rock meets, like keyboard rock. And again, the keyboard work here, I keep thinking about Mags now when I think about him playing keyboard. I keep thinking about him playing an unplugged in keyboard, like standing up. And so it's like, when I'm watching the video, I'm just kind of thinking about the aesthetic and so on. But then when people started commenting on that, it's like hilarious. It's really, really funny. So now when I think of him playing, I think of him either kind of hitting the keys very dramatically, like in The Sun Always Shines on TV, or I think of him dancing with a like, vertical keyboard not plugged into anything. But yeah, the keyboard work here is crazy, and there's some sections where it doesn't quite turn the way I think it's going to, but it's like really compelling at the same time. So maybe very different from what Mags and Paul ended up doing once a-ha coalesced and developed for a little while and became what they became. But man, had they continued as bridges, I would have been very interested, once discovering them or being or having them shown to me. I would have been very interested to hear more. So ultimately, it's interesting because, I'm aware that the song Fakkeltog is on their second album, and the name of their second album was perhaps going to be a song on their third album. So like clearly, again, they're thinking, just as I was saying with the early a-ha, they're thinking like longer term. They're thinking longer arc. They're thinking, multi-layered creativity. So yeah, just a really interesting album, this, even if sure in some respects it still does sound like the recording is like a bit more garage kind of sounding relative to the more polished production that you would get even with the first a-ha album. But yeah, very interesting, very compelling. Once again, shout out to Sofia for sharing the bridges. Let me know what you think of this one. I realized I didn't have tea this whole video. I have to go get tea, so I'll see you next time. Peace.